Our verse today is Acts chapter 11, verse 22. The report of this came to the ears of the church in Jerusalem, and they sent Barnabas to Antioch. Our verse follows the account of believers who were scattered as a result of the killing of Stephen and the persecution of the early Christians. As they fled Jerusalem, they went into Greek territories and continued preaching, first to the Jews. Antioch then became the first major Gentile Christian center as reflected in our verse. The report of this, that is, the message reaching the church about what was happening in Antioch, came to the ears of the church in Jerusalem. God's work cannot be hidden. To the ears of the church is an idiom meaning it came to the attention of the church. And the term church here does not refer merely to the leaders, but to the whole community. As the good news spread, there was testimony. Christians rejoiced and shared the news far and wide. Peter himself testified about his experience in Cornelius' house after receiving a vision. If you read Acts chapter 10 and Acts chapter 11, 1 to 18. Then those dispersed by persecution traveled as far as Cyprus, Cyrene, and Antioch, preaching to Hellenists and eventually to the Gentiles. There were many conversions, and people joined the Christian faith. This news reached the church in Jerusalem, implying continuity between the churches and Jerusalem. Jerusalem church was the mother of all the churches. It was from there that the Christian faith began to spread. This continuity with Jerusalem ensured harmony in doctrine and faith. Each church did not act independently. Rather, they synchronized their teaching and faith with what was upheld in Jerusalem. Once the church in Jerusalem heard the good news, they sent Barnabas to Antioch. Sending Barnabas served to affirm apostolic authority from Jerusalem and to strengthen the pastoral mission of the church. It also demonstrated that the church is one, operating under the headship of Christ, with a visible apostolic center in Jerusalem. Another reason for sending Barnabas was to strengthen the believers' faith and encourage them. We must be conscious not only of spreading bad news, but also of sharing the good things happening in our lives and around us. Bad news travels fast, and today the media is filled with reports of wars, killings, kidnappings, and shootings. However, many good things are happening in the world as well. We must be intentional about spreading this good news to counterbalance the negative. Our faith is not based on personal ideas or ideologies. It must align with the teachings of Christ and the universal church. That is something else we learn from this verse. Today, Rome represents for us the center of Catholic doctrinal teaching, with the Pope as the visible head on earth. When a new church or mission is established, the mother church from which it emerges often supports it until it can stand on its own. A Christian community is never isolated or independent. However, today we see a proliferation of churches without roots in apostolic origin or succession. We must be discerning in identifying with such gatherings and remember that not all that glitters is gold. Lord, help us to remain faithful to our Christian roots and apostolic origin. May we not be swayed by the currents of the world. Amen. God bless you, and I wish you a wonderful day.